All right. Good morning, everyone. And it's a pleasure to be here, and thanks to Bruce for hosting this session. I'll speak about Grid Metals. Can you hear me okay? I joined the company in January, just coming in from North American Palladium, where I was part of the senior management team with Jim Gallagher and Tim Hill that ended up selling the company to Impala Platinum for $1 billion. So we'd brought that from death's door stop or whatever, $30 million market cap, and basically on the verge of bankruptcy, and turned it around. The business is generating a huge amount of cash, and looking at probably over $600 million this year, with the high palladium price, but also the really low mining costs. So learned a lot about palladium with North American Palladium, before that with Anglo, working with Anglo Platinum. So it's a lot of experience I'm bringing to Grid, and have a few forward-looking statements. Senior management, I'm really proud to actually be reacquainting with Robin Dunbar, who has steered previously Mustang Minerals, now Grid, through some very difficult times, and managed to hold on and actually build a pretty good portfolio of nickel, copper, and PGM properties. This talk will focus on palladium opportunities at East Bull Lake specifically, and we'll try and make the case that we're poised for success this year, and looking for a major discovery on that project. And I've mentioned my own career. Really, this is coming full circle for me. I started mapping at East Bull Lake in 1990, and ran into Robin in the late 90s, and we were both dealing with Impala and Anglo American at the time, looking at all these projects around Sudbury that had these curious enrichments in palladium. It wasn't until 2000 that people got interested, because palladium had its first price spike back then at $1,000 an ounce. And there was a lot of hedging going on, and people were panicking. And I think this time the fundamentals are actually stronger for palladium. I'm very proud that we've been able to build a pretty good technical team, and we've just brought in Kevin Stevens, a friend of mine and a colleague that's a world-renowned geophysicist, and we believe geophysics is actually going to be the key to our success at East Bull and some of our other projects. Just briefly on the palladium market, we've had lots of coverage here, and if you're at the Red Cloud event on Friday, you certainly heard lots. I just want to emphasize that supply-demand gap. That's real. There was an announcement from Norilsk about trying to, assuage some of the concerns about that supply deficit. The above-ground stock numbers are dwindling. The Russian stockpile is low or maybe gone, although they've been trying to rebuild it a little bit. And Russia was trying to say, well, we're going to dump some palladium into the market. It amounted to 100,000 ounces and didn't stop the upward movement on palladium. Although palladium, like other metals, the last couple of weeks has been sort of hitting the jitters with the general market conditions. I think things are hopefully stabilizing. And at $2,400 an ounce, I remember at Lac des Îles, we were banking on 800 or higher 3 or 4 years ago, so 2,400 is pretty good, and generating lots of cash there. So East Bull Lake, where is it? It's 80 kilometers west of Sudbury. Terrific infrastructure, road accessible. In fact, a network of forestry roads through the whole property, so it's no problem getting to drill sites. Chronically underexplored, I'd say, despite the fact that there's all kinds of smoke at surface. The exploration to date may be a total of 100 holes. The property is 22 kilometers of strike length. It's actually part of a giant layered complex system that goes all the way east of Sudbury to River Valley. And it may have been something like the Great Dyke, that type of very large dike-like complex with ultramafic and mafic components. East Bull Lake, so far, we're seeing the mafic components, and it really is, in my mind and what I've seen, traveling the world looking at PGM projects, the closest thing I've seen to Lac des Îles. And the Lac des Îles model has never been tested here, and just in a nutshell, we're looking for vertical feeders that trap sulfide and PGE. We have the same rock types, same textures, same mineralogy, and just the lack of exploration here is really hard to believe in this market. So that's what we're focused on right now. There's two lobes to the complex, the west lobe and the east lobe. A little bit more work in the west, but what I've shown here is just a bubble plot map of the grades of surface samples that have been collected over the years. About 20 years intermittent exploration. There's been some exploration for nickel by Western areas and others, but really the focus right now is getting back to the real attractiveness of the project, which is all this smoke. We had our partner, sort of our compatriot company, Canadian Palladium, announced some drill results earlier this week or late last week. Very encouraging results. They've got that blue property down in the southwest corner, and that dips onto our property. So we control 90% of the claims on the complex, and very much preparing for a big program this year. I was talking about the lactazole model, and this is probably something that isn't widely applied, I guess, over the years in PGM exploration. But we do have what we call the contact style mineralization near the surface, and that's really what's been tested and found so far. And then we're looking for these vertical structures that fed the complex that carried the sulfides in, and really only looking to see 2% sulfide. That tends to translate into 2 to 3 grams of PGE. Our palladium-platinum ratios are 3:1 to 4:1, with a higher grade mineralization showing higher palladium-platinum ratios. And we believe we've identified already one of these feeder structures from existing geophysics, and we're just embarking on a new program to find the rest of the feeders. Just quickly on geophysics, red is good. So the hot spots here are showing resistivity lows are more conductive material. And this is plan view map of the complex. The one on the top is 100 meters below surface, and the one at the bottom is 900. And you can see that red area, that's our first major target, structural target, the Parisian Kid feeder target. And it's showing vertical extent at least below 1 kilometer. And it's got surface mineralization, including massive sulfides and disseminated palladium-rich sulfides. So what's our program for this year? We've got about a $300,000 magnetotelluric survey, fancy name for an electrical survey. It uses the Earth's natural electrical currents and detects changes or distortions in that caused by sulfides or alteration around fault zones. So we're trying to pick up the 3D architecture of the complex with this MT survey. That should be done in April, late April, and we probably start drilling in June. So that's the plan. We've got an ambitious drill program, about 5,000 meters. That'll allow us to drill probably 20 holes. And depending on the results of the MT, we may drill a little bit deeper than people have done in the past, looking for these high-grade lactazole type feeder structure targets. So in our model, we're looking for value, sort of in situ value, NSR values of over $200 a ton. There is mineralization of that grade and caliber on the property at surface, and we're looking for obviously something thick and bulk mineable, the way that it was mined at lactazole. And then the sort of open pit potential, you need at least 1.5 grams of palladium, I think, long term to make something viable. The stuff around 1 gram, there's lots of those projects, and not too keen on those, but if it's over 1.5 grams, I think you're in the interesting sort of value proposition. And just quickly on our Manitoba project holdings, a little bit more advanced properties here. We've got a PEA done from 2014. It's based on 2 separate deposits, one called Makwa in the south and one called Mayville in the north. Interestingly, the Mayville project has a palladium-rich zone that was discovered in the footwall to the main copper-nickel resource there. You can see the numbers for yourself, and I'll just show you a quick map of that. The PG zone is shown in purple on the image on the left, and the PG zone pierce points on a longitudinal section on the right, showing some interesting initial exploration results. 74 meters of a gram of total precious metals with 9 meters of almost 4 grams, and another hole with 46 at 3. And I can safely say that we don't know what the controls are here, but I have a suspicion it's a structure of some sort, and that'll be my next job with Grid, is to have a look at the data and reevaluate this to see if it warrants additional follow-up. So why invest in Grid? Well, we're 18 cents, tight share structure, 57 million shares outstanding, another 20 million or so warrants. Hopefully some of those will come in this year. They're in the money. I think we're highly undervalued. I think East Bolt Lake's going to deliver results this summer. And we're also sitting on these nickel copper assets. We've got another project in Ontario called Bannockburn, very interesting potential there. And we're also looking for new opportunities to build the palladium portfolio. So I think just keep an eye on this. We're open for business, and come and visit us at our Grid booth here at the show. Just leave you with some thoughts on palladium. Like I said, we've been here before. We've had price spikes, we've had panic, and I think everybody that could intervene has tried, and nothing's working to hold the price down. So although there is a point where platinum could be mass substituted back for palladium, it isn't as efficient as palladium in the gasoline burning engines. The other point is the price point. So you're looking at 3 grams sort of average loading for your auto catalysts, and is it worth to take the risk to move the supply risk to South Africa for platinum? I don't know. So far it hasn't happened. So we're hopeful in North America. We got lots of palladium rich projects, and I think our time is now. So thank you very much.